I'd like to call the Macomb City Council to order, please. If you'd please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If the clerk would call the roll, please.
Justin Shue.
Here.
John Vajezi.
Here.
Byron Shabazz.
Here.
Dave Dorsett.
Present.
Ashley Katz. Here. Don Wynn.
Here.
Dennis Moon.
Here.
7 present.
We have a quorum. Thank you. Citizens wishing to address the City Council on matters germane to the agenda of tonight's meeting will be limited to 3 minutes and are asked to be brief and concise in making their remarks. Comments submitted by mail or email will not be read aloud, but a copy will be provided to each member of the council and made part of the minutes of this meeting. Does anyone wish to speak to the council under the public comment section of the agenda? Hearing none. Before you is a consent agenda, and a motion is in order.
So moved. Second.
So moved and seconded to adopt the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Shue. Aye. Vajezi.
Aye.
Shabazz.
Aye.
Dorset.
Aye.
Katz. Aye. Wynn.
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. And I don't know if it's just a coincidence, but being the first meeting of 2025, we have no unfinished business. So under new business, quite a lengthy agenda here. So item number 1, consideration to approve and select between 2 proposals from solar companies to supply ground-mounted solar photovoltaic, close, system at the Macomb wastewater treatment plant. There's a memorandum in your packet from the city administrator. We also have Miss Becky Thompson from Nanya Energy with us. Scott, it's all yours.
Sure. So I'm going to let Becky speak here in a second, but if you recall some time ago, we went out for proposals for solar for the wastewater plant. Our plan is to put that at the new water plant site, just catty-cornered from the wastewater plant, and it will essentially offset all of the electrical use for the wastewater plant, and about $150,000 a year in electricity will be offset by this project. So go ahead.
Fantastic. Thank you for having me on this beautiful, chilly evening. You may have seen my face before. I've been here on various energy-related items, your contracts, community solar, and so tonight I'm excited to talk to you about on-site solar. So back in September, we opened the request for proposals. Just as a reminder, Nania Energy, our firm, is the consultative procurement portion of this. So we are not the developer, we are not the installer. We're just here to help aid in the selection of that company to install the final project for the city. So we listed the request for proposals, made it live, had a mandatory walkthrough, and had 27 individuals participate in the walkthrough, which is quite sizable. And that request for proposals closed in October. We received 12 qualified proposals, which is a pretty outstanding number. So we evaluated the different criteria for those proposals. I think that there's even like a summary page within your packet that you may be looking through. Cost effectiveness obviously ranks very highly, but then there are other pieces that we consider as far as their technique, their references, local expertise. Have they actually completed on-site solar within Ameren and have familiarity with helping achieve some of the incentives? And then also the completeness and compliance of the request for proposals for the on-site project. So through that, we narrowed down the 12 recipients or proposals to the top 3, and then invited those companies for a 30-minute interview where we asked them a variety of questions beyond just what they proposed in the RFP. Following those interviews, we narrowed down to 2 different firms, Utopian Power and Centrica Business Solutions. We were able to eliminate the Medco engineering through this evaluation process. Utopian Power has local expertise and including wastewater treatment plants specifically, which was pretty impressive to see, but they were also the most cost-effective option as well. So I think you can see in the memo what the recommendation would be going forward, but then we're also keeping Centrica as a backup and want to move forward with contract negotiations with Utopian Power, and if an amicable contract could not be achieved at that point, then we would evaluate with Centrica.
Thank you. Any questions for either Scott or Becky? Alderman Vajezzi, I'm sorry.
Before,
Sure, go
sorry,
ahead.
before we go to questions real quick. So because the price for the project is around $2.2 million, we're going to ask for a local loan to finance that until we get all the credits, because the state credits pay out over multiple years. And so I'm expecting within 4 or 5, depending on the interest rate, within 4 or 5 years, we'll have the loan paid off, and then it'll just be free and clear, owned by the city. So just a heads up, the next couple of weeks, as we get through negotiations for the contract with Utopian, we're going to be looking for a local loan for that construction financing.
Alderman Vajezzi.
Just a quick question. You mentioned that Utopian Power has some local investment in this area. Do you know any place that's close to Macomb or sizable to what we're looking for?
Not the name off the top of my head. I know that there were school districts and a wastewater treatment plant, both within Ameren, but the names of those exact references are escaping me now. But they did provide the references and the names and contact information. We did contact each of those independently and ask what their experience was, because it's one thing to have a reference, it's another thing to have a good reference. And they said that their team was very attentive, that whenever issues did arise, because this is a quite sizable construction project, that they were right there on top of it and took a lot of the onus off of the client themselves, and they handled a lot of the things that pop up with the Ameren, for example, or going through several of those obstacles that you encounter. But we do have that list of those references that were part of this process.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Already, thank you, Ms. Thompson. We'd entertain a motion to authorize the city administrator to enter into negotiations for this system with Utopian and, if necessary, Centrica.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to proceed. Any discussion? God, do you have a timeline on when you might be having something ready to proceed?
We would like to be under construction this spring, early summer. So yeah, we're going to move as quickly as we can.
Arnie, hearing no further discussion, roll call, please.
Vajezzi,
Aye.
Shabazz.
Aye.
Dorset.
Aye.
Katz.
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 2, consideration to authorize the application for continuously applying for Walmart Spark Good Local Grants in FY 2025. There's a memorandum in your packet from Ms. Bidenstadt, the grant writer coordinator. And Jess, could you go over that for us, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good evening, all. I am here to request your approval to apply for the funding through the Walmart Spark Good Local Grant Program for the entirety of 2025. This grant is a fantastic opportunity to secure up to $5,000 per application for community-focused initiatives, and I believe it can greatly benefit our Macomb Police Department. The department has previously applied to this grant, and they have recently changed their application process and their verification process, which what would make this grant particularly appealing is that it requires no local match. The funds we are requesting will primarily be used to support the department's essential needs, including supplies for the K-9 unit, office materials, and general building maintenance. These funds will not only enhance the department's operations, but also alleviate some of the financial strain on their budget. We've already taken the necessary steps to ensure our eligibility by completing the onboarding and verification process. The application window will open on March 1st of this year, and Walmart allows up to 25 applications to be submitted and or approved per organization annually. With your approval, I am requesting the ability to continuously submit applications throughout 2025 as needs arise. This would allow us to act quickly and efficiently without the waiting period associated with seeking council approval for individual applications. This grant has previously been applied to and has been successful. If the new program proves successful, I will return to council at the end of the year to request reapproval to do the same for 2026. For now, this request is limited to 2025 calendar year, providing an opportunity to assess how well this program aligns with the department's needs and the city's goals. This approach ensures that we can maximize the benefit of this grant program while maintaining the flexibility to address a variety of needs within the department. I am happy to address any questions you may have.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Bidenstadt? Sounds like we've been successful in the past, that some changes have been made in the process. This allow us to keep on top of those requests for Chief Hammer and his folks.
Yes. And
Alrighty, would
previous-
entertain a motion to authorize the continuous application for the Walmart Spark Grant through calendar year 2025.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Jess, anything you want to add?
Previously, they've only allowed one application per year. And so now that they've opened it up to 25, we're just going to try and kind of see how much they would be willing to approve, what different types of projects would be approved, and then reevaluate that for the following year. So
Okay, thank you.
that's all.
Alrighty, hearing no further discussion, roll call, please.
Shabazz.
Aye.
Dorset.
Aye.
Katz.
Aye.
Wynn.
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
Shu.
Aye.
Vajezi.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried, thank you. And Jess, while we have you there, authorization for an application for FY 2025 for the Illinois State Fire Marshal's Fire Station Rehabilitation and Construction Grant. There's a memorandum in your packet. Can you go over that for us, please?
Yes. I am seeking your approval to apply for the Illinois State Fire Marshal's Fire Station Rehabilitation and Construction Grant for the fiscal year 2025. This grant provides up to $350,000 in funding and requires no local match, offering a significant opportunity to address critical infrastructure needs for Fire Station 1 without placing the financial burden on the city or the fire department. The proposed application will request the maximum allowable funding to complete several essential projects, including tuck pointing repairs to preserve the structural integrity of Fire Station 1, completion of the apparatus bay floor to ensure the safety and functionality of the station, replacement of the outdated garage door openers for improved operational reliability, and then we would also be potentially requesting reimbursements for costs incurred from the ongoing HVAC replacement project, which began in 2021 and is vital for maintaining appropriate conditions within the station. These improvements are critical to supporting the Macomb Fire Department's ability to respond effectively to emergencies, protect our community, and extend the life of its key facility. I am pleased to inform you all the pre-qualification requirements, including our SAM.gov registration and NFIRS compliance, have been completed, ensuring our eligibility for this grant. The submission date will be February 28th of this year. Your approval tonight will allow us to move forward without delay and position us strongly to secure this funding. Thank you for your consideration, and Chief Meyer or I are happy to address any questions.
Any questions for Jess regarding this grant? Again, no local match necessary, up to $350,000. Already, we'd entertain a motion to authorize the pursuit of that grant as well.
Make a motion to authorize application for the 2025 Illinois State Fire Marshal Fire Station Rehabilitation and Construction Grant.
Second. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dorset.
Aye.
Katz.
Aye.
Wynn.
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
Shu.
Aye.
Vajezi.
Aye.
Shabazz.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. And item number 4, consideration to authorize Grant Scribe to assist in making an application for the RAISE grant for infrastructure improvements. This is a combination request from Ms. Bidenstad as the grant coordinator and Ms. Lambert as the community development coordinator. We'll let you start, and then we'll pitch to Ms. Lambert.
Okay. So I am here tonight to respectfully request your approval to engage Grant Scribe to assist in revising and submitting the City of Macomb's fiscal year 25 RAISE grant applications. The RAISE grant represents a rare opportunity to secure up to $25 million in federal funding for infrastructure and critical safety improvements with no local match required. The program is highly competitive with complex application requirements. After careful planning and discussions, we identified the need to separate 2 distinct projects into individual applications, the multi-use path around Macomb and the infrastructure improvements on Candy Lane. Initially, we considered combining these projects into one application. However, during our planning meeting with Grant Scribe and other key personnel, the importance of clarity and focus in our proposals was emphasized. Combining the applications will dilute the strength of both projects. The multi-use project, while promising and previously ranked as high merit, requires further planning for cost, materials, right-of-way, and other factors, making it the perfect candidate for the planning grant application. In contrast, the Candy Lane improvements are shovel-ready, making them ideal for immediate implementation. Goodness. Submitting separate applications not only aligns with the Raise Grants program's guidance, but also significantly improves our chances of success. As your grant writer and coordinator, I am committed to building a strong and competitive grant program for the city of Macomb. I have been actively attending workshops, webinars, and trainings to deepen my understanding of the grant process and the guidelines that must be followed. While I am confident in my abilities, the Raise Grants complexity requires additional expertise to ensure our application remains highly competitive. This is where GrantScribe's 14 years of experience with federal grants becomes invaluable. Their expertise will guide us in refining these applications, addressing critical feedback we previously received from the Raise team, and ensuring our submissions meet the highest standards. This collaboration is not only an investment in securing this transformative funding, but also an opportunity for me to gain insight and guidance that will enhance Macomb's future grant applications. It is also important to highlight the cost for the GrantScribe service will be less than the initial or the $5,775, as much as the groundwork is already complete, as we have previously submitted these applications. The cost for both applications will be covered entirely by the Thriving Communities Grant through the Community Development Department, so there will be no additional financial burden on the city. And then Miranda or I will be here for any questions you may have.
Any questions for Ms. Bidenstadt or Ms. Lambert? Alderman Dorsett.
Thank you for splitting those up because I don't want anything to get in the way of Candy Lane after all these years.
Right.
That being said, I would like to thank you for the quarterly grant report that you sent out. It's very helpful, and I think you're doing a good job growing into this. And I look forward to the day that we don't have to pay GrantScribe. But in the meantime, being the curmudgeon who's objected to it, I will support that.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Alrighty, thanks, Jess. I would entertain a motion to authorize GrantScribe to assist in making an application for the Raise Grant for infrastructure improvements for the city.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Miranda, did you want to add anything? Not necessary, just curious.
No, it's on this.
Okay.
Make your way up.
Just to reiterate, again, we had, with the funding that came through Thriving Communities, we had certain money allocated that we need to find a way to spend. So again, we find that this is the best way to not only help us secure this funding, but use this as an opportunity for training for future grant opportunities.
Okay, thank you. Anything for Miranda? Ready? Do we have a motion and a second? Then hearing no further discussion, roll call, please.
Katz.
Aye.
Wynn.
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
Shu.
Aye.
Vajezi.
Aye.
Shabazz.
Aye.
Dorset.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. And items 5, 6, and 7 are all related. So we'll start off with number 5, consideration to authorize TIF audit and administrative assistance on behalf of the Community Development Department from Jacob and Klein Limited and Economic Development Group Limited to assist with auditing the West Side TIF District and annual administrative assistance on both the downtown East Side and West Side TIF districts. This was discussed at the Community Development Committee on the 19th of December. Miranda, anything you want to go into any detail here regarding item 5?
So I want to highlight the services that they're going to be able to provide us here at the City of Macomb that you see in my memorandum, also in more detail in Exhibit 1 in their agreement. One of the things where this is a great opportunity for us, especially seeing what has transpired in our West TIF and then the opportunity that's coming through our East TIF in terms of funding that's becoming available to us at such an early stage, is thinking about what will our long-term projects be for those TIF districts and being able to lean on them to be able to assist us with whether it be negotiations, agreement paperwork, things like that. So this way we're not having things hold us up just because we might not have the ability when it comes to our capacity to take on an opportunity. So.
Very good.
And there is one thing that I'd like to highlight. There is a difference between the cost of the east side and the west side. So again, the east side just started, so that one's going to be $5,500. The west side is $6,500. Part of that's going to be to audit our TIF and kind of what we've done in the past. So again, a great time to assess where things have been and where they're going to go. And these are going to be TIF eligible expenses, so that's where the cost of this will be covered.
Thank you. Any questions for Miranda? We'd entertain a motion to authorize us entering into those agreements with Jacob and Klein Limited.
Motion to authorize.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? And it's 6,500 and 5,500 respectively.
Correct, for the
Okay.
year. And then, again, within this agreement, if it seems to be of value to look at what that might look like, continuing the agreement, that is an option, but it is slated as a one-year term.
Very good. Thank you. Anything at all? All right. Hearing no further discussion, roll call, please.
Wynn,
I'll recuse.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajezi,
Aye.
Shabazz,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz. Aye. All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Now, both of those agreements need a resolution authorizing each one of them. So item number 6 is consideration to adopt a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of professional services agreement for the annual administration of the Macomb Downtown East Side TIF District. I'd ask, go ahead.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and I'd ask the city attorney to read the resolution to the record, please.
Thank you. The resolution indicates that the city desires to engage the professional services of Jacob and Klein and the Economic Development Group Limited to assist with the annual administration of the Macomb Downtown East Side TIF District. The resolution authorizes the mayor to enter into and execute on behalf of the city the professional services agreement that is attached as Exhibit A.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajezi,
Aye.
Shabazz,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Recuse.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. And item number 7, consideration to adopt a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement for the annual administration of the Macomb West Side TIF. We'd entertain a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and I'd ask the city attorney to read the resolution to the record, please.
This resolution provides that the city desires to engage in the professional services of Jacob and Klein and the Economic Development Group Limited to assist with the administration of the Macomb West Side TIF District. The resolution authorizes the mayor to enter into and execute on behalf of the city the professional services agreement in the attached Exhibit A.
That'll stand as a reading. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajezi,
Aye.
Shabazz,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 8, consideration to authorize a renewal contract agreement with Epic Property Service, LLC, for the city's mowing services. There's a memorandum in your packet from the Community Development Director, Ms. Lambert. Can you go over that for us, please?
So last year was our first year using Epic as our mowing services for our code enforcement. Overall, it went great. They were very responsive when it came to any issues that we had or in terms of getting something taken care of, also with their invoicing process. So within our contract, it says that we can go 2 additional one-year periods. So we want to move forward with those 2 additional one-year periods. All payment rates stay the same as it shows in the memorandum. To date, just to kind of give you guys an up to see where we are, this fiscal year, we've spent $15,695 in mowing. We have $25,000 slotted in terms of the overall cost.
Thank you for the update, and then no increase on their fee, correct?
Correct. No increase, and we can still, if for some reason things change within these 2 years, we are able to cancel the agreement with a 30-day written notice.
Very good. Thank you. Entertain a motion to authorize entering into that agreement with Epic Property Services, LLC.
Make a motion to authorize renewal contract agreement with Epic Property Services, LLC for mowing services.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Vajezi,
Aye.
Shabazz,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu?
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Prior to item number 9, I would like to call an executive session to consider information relative to the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of an employee of the public body or legal counsel for the public body pursuant to Section 2C1 of the Open Meetings Act.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to go into executive session. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Shabazz?
Aye.
Dorset?
Aye.
Katz?
Aye.
Wynn?
Aye.
Moon?
Aye.
Shu? Vajezi?
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried, and there will be action out of the executive session. We'll continue with the agenda after that as well.
Go ahead. Open
Motion to
session.
return to open session?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to return to open session. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. We're back in open session, and we're on item number 9, consideration to authorize a contractual agreement with the Stephen Servin as the City of Macomb's water plant manager. Do you want to go over the terms, or Alice, do you want to go over the terms of the agreement for the record, please?
I do. Yes.
Thank you.
Basic terms are that Steve Servin would be hired for the position of Water Division Manager. It would become a contract position. So like our other appointed and contracted employees, his term would be January 18th, 2025 through April 30th, 2027, which is the term of the mayor. His annual compensation would start at $99,000. It would be available to be adjusted annually with any cost of living adjustments pursuant to other non-union staff. And then at the end of that term, it's contemplated that he would continue in that same contract position until the new water plant becomes operational, and probably for, 6 to 12 months after that. And so when we get to the point that we need to redo this contract with the new mayor, whoever that may be, we would have those terms in that particular contract.
Entertain a motion to approve that agreement with the city and Mr. Servin.
Motion to approve the contractual agreement with Stephen Servin and the City of Macomb Water Plant Manager.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Just like to thank Steve in the interim position. He's been doing a great job. Glad he's been willing to step up to this by agreement. Alrighty. Hearing no further discussion, roll call, please.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Vijezi,
Aye.
Shabazz.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 10, consideration to approve hiring of a legal assistant and placement within the salary matrix in the city attorney's office. There's a memorandum in your packet from Ms. Scalf. Lisa, could you go over that for us, please?
Sure. I'm asking council to authorize the hiring of Alyssa Lester to the position of legal assistant. I'm asking that council approve her initial placement at step 2 in our matrix, grade 18. I would traditionally advocate that we start at step 1 because that's what's put forth in our matrix. However, I would indicate that Ms. Lester has educational bachelor's that is in excess of what the minimum requirements for the position are. She also has experience over and above what is required for the application. Our job description requires a minimum of 3 years experience in the field. She has about 5.5 years experience. All of her experience is directly relevant to the position of legal assistant. And for those reasons, I would ask you all to consider allowing her to be hired at step 2.
Entertain a motion to authorize that.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to authorize that at hiring step 2, grade 18. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Vijezi,
Aye.
Shabazz.
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 11, consideration to authorize a member of understanding agreement between the City of Macomb and REACH, a supplier for Ameren, to receive a grant in the amount of $50,000 with no applicable match for an electric charging station. This was discussed at the Community Development Committee on the 19th of December. Mr. Coker, can you go over what we're hoping to accomplish here, please?
Sure. So let me back up a little bit and give a little history on this. So back in September, August, September timeframe, I saw that Ameren was doing a community engagement and consultation program. So we went through September, October, met with them a few times on Zoom, talked through what the city's been doing for sustainability, what we've been working on. And then in December, they called us up and said, here's $50,000, do with what you want to improve your electrification of the city. So what I'm going to say is we are going to look at charging stations on the square. We have conduit in place for those. Also, depending on how the cost of that comes out, we may look at purchasing an electric vehicle for one of our departments just as a trial to get that going. So the reason the MOU is with Reach Strategies, they request the money from Ameren and then they give it to the city to use as we want. And we have a year to spend it. And there's no match required, so.
Any questions for Scott?
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm good.
We entertain a motion to authorize that MOU.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to authorize the memorandum of understanding. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Vijezi,
Aye.
Shabazz,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz. Aye. All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 12, consideration to award a bid for nuisance tree removal. And I'll turn this over to Ms. Ortman. She's got the particulars.
Good evening. December 11th, we opened bids for the nuisance tree removal program. Remember, we had sent letters out to a lot of homes around town, and we had developed that loan program for this. Well, these are the remaining trees that they did not take a loan out, and these homeowners have not taken any steps towards removing these trees. So we got bids. We received 5. 2 were not responsive, as they were missing various parts of the bid. Branch out was, as you'll see on the attached bid tab, the lowest by far. So there was a little concern. That's why we didn't come to council right away after the bid, because we wanted to make sure that they really truly had included everything in their bid. We didn't want to put them in a position to take a bid and then end up losing lots of money on it, since this is a lien program. And they were perfectly fine with it. They're going to meet all of the wage requirements. They understand that it's stump removal too. So Skip Bowles, our city forester, talked to him, and he's satisfied that they understand the project and that they have bid it properly. So we're requesting the contract with Branch Out for the total amount of $4,950. And if there's any trees that get removed before they get there, then we will not have to pay for those trees.
Thank you. Entertaining motion to authorize and award that bid to Branch Out.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. It's moved and seconded. Any discussion? Any questions for Alice? Alderman Chu.
Alice, can you just remind us I know this is separate from this contract, but the time period that people have had and the communication that we've tried to touch base with people who might have some trees, just generally?
I think those letters went out August, September, the first round. And so they get the initial, you've got a tree that's dead, you need to take it down letter, and that comes from Skip. And they're given 30 days to get it down. If they don't do anything, then code enforcement then sends another round of letters out saying, okay, you still haven't taken your tree down, you've got a little bit more time. And then the final act was, okay, we're gonna go out to bid and we're gonna take the tree down for you.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, but it's been quite prolonged.
Perfect.
Well, I would just add in there too, also the opportunity for the grant that you all authorized for
The loans,
to assist
yes.
homeowners was made available for these folks as well.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
I would say I was pleasantly surprised at how many trees came down and how fast they came down. And we had $50,000 allocated, and I don't recall, like 12, 15? We did not come even close to using that full amount.
Okay, very good. Hearing no further discussion, then roll call, please.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Vijezi,
Aye.
Shabazz,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried, thank you. Item number 13, consideration to renew the contract with the city and Collins Excavating for snow removal along the sidewalks along the Jackson Street corridor. There's a memorandum in your packet, and Alice, could you go over that for us, please?
Yes, as I do every year, I met with Scott to get his contract executed. And he mentioned that since the contract had initiated back in 2016, the price, the $625 per half inch, had not changed in that entire time. And obviously costs have gone up and et cetera. And so he asked if we could increase it to $800 a half inch, which I thought seemed reasonable. And when I wrote this memo, I thought it had only been since 2018, and it actually had been since 2015. So I think 800 is even more than fair given those times.
Entertain a motion to approve that contract with that additional amount.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion, any questions for Alice? Already hearing none, roll call, please.
Shu,
Aye.
Vijezi,
Aye.
Shabazz,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried, thank you. And one more item, Alice, item number 14, consideration to authorize an agreement with WTR WRX Services for water treatment plant gravity filter media cleaning in the amount of $82,850. There is a memorandum from Ms. Ortman in your packet. Could you go over that for us, please?
Yes, as you'll recall, we hired WTR, WRX back in late September, early October. They grabbed composite samples from all four gravity filters, the media, and tested them. The media is physically, structurally is in decent shape, but it is fouled. So it is coated with like a calcium lime kind of a coating on it. And there's some biofouling as well, which causes the flow to not flow evenly through the filter bed, which is what you need to get good filtration. And so because it's in good structural shape, excuse me, I'm having trouble talking tonight, we don't necessarily have to replace the media, which you'll recall that was about a $500,000 price tag. We believe that if we can soak it and clean it and backwash it and get it back into operation, then our filters will be back to where they need to be. And we'll tell you that as a result of the sampling, the top layer of the gravity bed was supposed to be granulated activated carbon, which is a media that is good at removing organics, and that's what it's there for, and that's what helps with THMs. For whatever reason, that top layer is anthracite instead, which does not provide the organics removal. But we were doing fine with it the way it was before, but we have, as you know, been having some THM issues. So once we get it clean and get it back in operation, we're hopeful to get back to that.
Any questions for Alice? So does this update include the injection of the activated carbon then?
No.
Okay.
No.
Alrighty, we'd entertain a
Hoping to
motion.
not do that.
I'm sorry?
My goal is that we don't have to do that.
Okay, understood.
But I just wanted to let you know that may still come.
Would entertain a motion to proceed. Alderman Nguyen?
One quick question. We hired this company to backwash these filters? Or
No, they went in and grabbed samples. So they did core samples through the whole depth of the bed in each bed. And then they were able to, and they took like 4 samples in each bed, I believe. So we got a nice composite of what all the media looks like so that we knew what kind of condition the filters were in. But we did not pay them. They have not done no backwashing or anything for us.
Now they're going
Now they're going to.
to.
Yes, we're going to feed an acid to the beds, and so they'll take care of that. They'll take care of getting it mixed. They'll take care of all of that, and then take more sampling. Then after we soak it, backwash it, they'll grab samples, be able to look at those under a microscope at the treatment plant, so we'll know right then and there if the cleaning had been successful or if we need to soak it longer, and then we'll be able to get the filters back into operation.
So this is more of a training session for our people then.
Not really, because we should never have to do this again. This is only necessary because those filters sat idle for a year and a half. And so.
Oh, this is just because they sat idle.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Would entertain a motion to enter into an agreement with WTR WRX for the cleaning of the gravity filter media at the plant.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. And Alice, the $82,850 is coming out of the water fund, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Vajezi.
Aye.
Shabazz. Dorset.
Aye.
Katz. Aye. Wynn.
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
Shu.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, Alice. There is no other new business this evening. Are there any committee reports? Hearing none. Aldermanic reports. Alderman Moon.
No report.
Thank you, sir. Alderman Nguyen.
No report.
Thank you. Ms. Katz.
No report.
Thank you. Mr. Dorset.
No report.
Thank you. Mr. Shabazz.
No report.
Thank you. Alderman Vajezzi.
No report, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Shu, anything?
And just a couple of quick things, but
sir.
I wanted to say I think the social media team and Savannah did a great job preparing people, sharing things for potential weather, and truly I think that was good. Luckily, we didn't have it as some of our neighbors did, but I think she did a great job, or the team did a great job there. And before we meet again, WRU will be back in session, so we'll be welcoming students back home. So look forward to having them back. And then the last thing I wanted to mention, I appreciated some time the mayor and I spoke some about if people are interested in getting involved with the city and serving on any boards or councils, there is a great form online that people can fill out. So for the thousands of people listening, hopefully take an opportunity to consider getting involved in serving on one of those.
Very good. And we'll double down on that here in just a couple of minutes. Madam Clerk, anything?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Scow?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Coker?
No report, Your Honor.
Thank you. We have several resignations and one appointment here. I'd ask for your concurrence, and then we'll double down on what Alderman Shu had to share just a moment ago. Would ask for your consideration and accepting with regret the resignation of Jenny Boynton from the Tree Board.
Move to concur with regret.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? And all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion is carried. Thank you. And I would ask for your concurrence in appointing Ms. Barry McVeigh to fill Ms. Boynton's spot on the Tree Board.
Move to appoint Barry McVeigh to the Tree Board.
Second.
Moved and seconded to appoint Ms. McVeigh. Any discussion? She's returning to that. She actually was there many years ago, left the city, moved back, and so she's been very willing to step in again, so appreciate that. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion is carried. And I'd ask for your concurrence in accepting with regret a longtime member of the Planning Commission, Mr. Chris McDaniel.
Accept with regret the resignation of Chris McDaniel.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? And he is retiring from his position here in the city with his business and moving to another climate. So that's the only reason he's leaving us. There no further discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. And then to Alderman Shu's point, there are, if you're interested in serving, we'd be very happy to discuss that opportunity with you. We have probably close to maybe a half a dozen vacancies on various boards and commissions within the city. Please go to the city's website, and you can drop down on the boards and commissions website. There's a form to express your interest. You can fill that in and drop it in the email to us, or if you want to give my office a call, be happy to sit down with folks, talk about what they might be inclined to serve in, and get an idea what the commitment would be. We'd look forward to that conversation. Don't believe there's any other business to come before you this evening. We can entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion is carried. We're adjourned. Thank you.